The shift to food production in the Neolithic was a kind of cheat code, giving our species a steady food supply. This led to population growth and became the foundation for crafts and trade. But of course, there was a downside: social stratification, with elites living in luxury while others toiled in the fields from dawn till dusk. And as it turned out, wealth wasn't just something you could extract from farmers and laborers. It could also be taken directly or indirectly from the elites of other societies. So, from ancient times to the present, warfare has been a major part of history. And naturally, war requires weapons. The idea of hitting an enemy from a distance without engaging in close combat has fascinated people for ages. And while crossbows are usually associated with the Middle Ages, they were actually invented much earlier. As early as the first millennium BCE, the Greeks were making gastrophetes, a type of early crossbow. The Chinese had something similar, and later, the Romans and Byzantines used their own versions. Even the French, judging by frescoes in Saint-Germain, knew about crossbows before the Crusades. When people discuss the pros and cons of crossbows, the common take is that they were powerful, easy to use, but slow to reload, and that last part is often cited as the reason crossbows never fully replaced bows. But then there's the Chinese repeating crossbow, the chukonu, which had a lever mechanism that let the user reload while simultaneously preparing the next shot. This allowed a firing rate of about 10 shots in 15 seconds. Its draw weight was around 30 kilograms, comparable to a light war bow. So, about 2,000 years ago, the Chinese came up with a weapon that required minimal training and could outshoot a bow in terms of rate of fire. And yet, despite being used up until the late 19th century, it never revolutionized warfare or replaced the bow. It didn't even help much against Mongol archers. On the other hand, if we look at reconstructions of late medieval European crossbows, where draw weights reached several hundred kilograms, and test their ability to penetrate a solid breastplate, we find that they often couldn't. I've covered this in a separate video, so I won't go into detail here. But all of this raises a logical question. Why did neither rapid-fire crossbows in the East, nor ultra-powerful ones in the West, manage to replace bows or even edged weapons entirely? The answer, surprisingly, lies in physics. The energy of a crossbow, measured in joules, is half the product of the draw weight in newtons, and the length of the strings travel in meters. In simpler terms, the farther the string moves while pushing the bolt, the more energy the projectile gets. And here's the issue. A travel distance of a crossbow string is much shorter than a bow's, usually around 10 to 18 centimeters. This means less efficiency. A bowstring, by comparison, can travel more than 70 centimeters. Now let's convert kilograms of draw weight into newtons. 1 kilogram of draw weight equals 10 newtons. Multiply that by the power stroke, in meters, divide by 2, and that's your energy output. But since every bow or crossbow has a different efficiency rating, influenced by factors like projectile weight and limb material, that also needs to be factored in. A crossbow's efficiency can be as low as a few percent, with an upper limit of around 85%. To keep it simple, here's the big picture. A basic longbow made of yew with a draw weight of 36 kilograms delivers around 65 joules of energy to an arrow. A crossbow with the same draw weight, a 15-centimeter string travel, and 50% efficiency delivers only 13 joules. To match the power of the longbow, a crossbow would need a draw weight of 180 kilograms. In other words, because of the shorter power stroke, a crossbow's draw weight needed to be 5 times higher than a bow's to achieve similar energy. The most powerful longbows, with draw weights around 70 kilograms, could deliver up to 100 joules. Matching that would require a crossbow with limbs rated at nearly 300 kilograms. Even absolute monsters with draw weights exceeding 500 kilograms only fired bolts with roughly twice the energy of an English longbow's arrow. But in reality, even that twofold advantage wasn't always there. As crossbows got bulkier and their steel limbs heavier, their release speed dropped, reducing efficiency. Thicker strings didn't help either. Even siege crossbows, massive weapons designed for fortress defense, often produced less energy than a modern handgun round. Some calculations even suggest that in practice, a 45-kilogram longbow could deliver more energy to its arrow than a crossbow with a draw weight of 450 kilograms. This is because steel limbs at such high draw weights had an efficiency of only around 25%. A modern reconstruction of a crossbow with high-quality alloy steel limbs and a draw weight of 450 kilograms can, at best, deliver 110 joules, comparable to an arrow from a powerful English longbow. Some crossbows did have longer limbs with a draw length exceeding 18 centimeters. Their efficiency could go beyond 50%, but overall, to match a bow's performance, a crossbow needed several times the draw weight. In fact, those heavy-duty models, which took quite a while to reload using a windlass, also known as the English rack and pinion, appeared even before full plate armor. That's because only with a draw weight in the hundreds of kilograms could a crossbow rival the penetrating power of a longbow. It could pierce, say, a sturdy shield, but as for those fantasy movie moments where it shoots clean through a dragon at long range, yeah, not happening. A crossbow with a draw weight similar to an average bow was only dangerous against an unarmored opponent, and even then, only at close range. Modern materials, however, allow for much more efficient crossbows that can outperform their historical counterparts while requiring even 5 times less draw weight.